Alright, in this video I want to talk about undo and redo, which are typical to most programs, fairly simple in Blender, but there are a couple of interesting keystrokes that I would like to share with you, and also show you in the user preferences where we can access some of this stuff. So to start out with, Blender has 32 undo iterations by default. And I haven't messed with that yet because frankly 32 is fine. But depending on your memory and such, you may want to change it yourself. So we can go to File and User Preferences, or Control Alt U, so we continue our theme of using hotkeys. And if we go to our Editing tab, it should pop up for you in your interface. If you go to Editing, you can see down here under Undo we have Steps 32, and you can raise or lower that as you see fit, or specifically change the memory limit for it. And if you do change it, be sure to hit Save User Settings. I'm going to leave mine at 32 because that should be fine. Now, for redo and undo, it's just about as simple as you would expect it to be. Let's move our cube here. And let's scale our cube. Now, to undo, we're going to hit Control Z, and that will go in increments. So there goes our scale, one of our movements, another movement, and then back to where we started. Simple enough. And if we need to redo something, it's just Control Shift Z. And there we go. But there are a couple of keystrokes, well, one keystroke attached to our transform keys that I do want to show you. Honestly, I really kind of avoid using these, and you'll see why in a moment. But it is good for you to know they're there, and at least one immediate use does come to mind. So we know that we have like S for scale. So we can hit S and we can scale this up. Or we can hit S and Z and scale it only on the Z axis. Or S and Y and scale it on the Y axis. And that's all well and fine. And then maybe we do, say, a rotation on it. And that's all well and fine. Then we decide we don't like the way that it's scaled. So we do our Control Z until we get back to where we wanted to be. That's all well and fine. But what if we really liked the rotation we had on our object, but we just weren't happy with the way we scaled it? We can't get back to our scale without undoing our rotation using the Control Z function. But there is a way that we can do this. So let's try this again. We're going to hit Scale. I'm going to scale it up. Then I'm going to hit Z. Well, I didn't do that very well, right? So we're going to hit Scale, scale it up. Then I'm going to hit S and Z, scale it that way. And then S and Y, and scale it that way. And then, oops. And then I'm going to fat finger my keyboard, but eventually I'm going to hit R, and I'm going to put a rotation on this. Maybe we're doing some sort of sculpture for an environment or something. And I decide that this abstract piece I really like the rotation on, but I'm not happy with the scaling. We do have the option of using our transform keys with the Alt key to undo a specific transform. So in this case, if I'm really happy with this rotation, but I want to rescale it, I can hit Alt S, and as you can see, it undoes all of the scaling that I've done on this in one blow. But we've maintained our transformation, so now we can go back and maybe we start with Z, and we start transforming with our rotation in place. To get a different output. But again, this could get out of hand on you really, really fast. I generally try to avoid doing them. You have plenty of undos, and I usually don't mind redoing a rotation. Because as we know, this is Blender, and it really falls under the if it looks right, it is right. So if you can get a close approximation to the rotation you like, you're probably going to be fine. But I did want you guys to know that that Alt key attached to the transforms was there, just so that you have a full and complete understanding of Blender's keystrokes. Alright, that should do it for undo and redo, and I will see you in the next video.